I'm back. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. I'm your host, Shah, my channel where you get reviews, analysis, predictions, and hot takes on all things Raptors as well as some NBA. So the Raptors had their 11th game of the season against the Brooklyn Nets today, and Spicy P is back. So without further ado, let's talk Raptors versus the Nets. So I am sad that I was right about losing this game. But let me, talk about exactly what happened. So the Raptors came out, you're expecting them to be a little bit nervous considering they're playing KD and they're such a young team, KD and Harden. On the other side, bro, all wet pretty much. And, the Raptors are sticking in the game. They're getting their 2-point shots. They can't seem to nail a freaking three-pointer, man. So many open three-pointers the Raptors could have made and taken a considerable lead. But the Raptors just couldn't nail the three-pointers, man. And, they're sticking in there. They're going at it. And eventually by halftime, close to halftime, that's when the three highlight plays of the game for the Raptors showed up, okay? So, number one was Chris Boucher. It's basically a fast break. Chris Boucher passes it to OG on top, on the top end side of the court. Then OG, shoots it back at Boucher, and Boucher gets a two-hand game right at the bucket. Then on the next play, Scotty Barnes steals the ball, gets a fast break, reverse dunk in the net, and that puts Raptors up by, I think it was 5 at that time. And then on the other side, again, the Raptors, I think Brooklyn scores, the Raptors come down. There's about, 12 seconds on the clock. Freddie does his dribble, and splits two freaking Brooklyn Nets defenders. Splits them, gets to the bucket, gets the layup, puts us up at 7, and the Raptors go into the halftime leading by 7. But then the Raptors come back out, and it just seems like the same thing is continuing. The Raptors can't seem to, nail their 3 points, open 3-point shots. The Nets step up there, defense in a sense. The Raptors start turning the ball over, and eventually by the end of the third quarter, I think we were still close. I think it was a 5-point game. And then in the fourth quarter, James Harden just, takes over. I think he scored like 13 points in the fourth quarter. And the Raptors end up losing that game by 13 points. So 116 Brooklyn Nets, 103 the Raptors. I'm a fan of KD, even though he's an idiot on social media, but his game, you cannot deny. There was this one game with the Raptors, Gary Trent Jr. is going off in the third quarters, and, Kevin Durant just comes nice and, calm, walks to the three-point line and nails a freaking three-pointer right in Gary Trent's face and puts them back up by like freaking, I think it was 7 points at that time. And you're just like, oh my God, man. No matter what we try, it's not going to work. But here are the key takeaway, guys. Number one, Siakam is back. Now, you have to understand that, you can't just expect a guy to come in off, like, I think it's 8 months now of not having any sort of play time, having soft practices and everything like that, and then going off on the first game. But he did look good. He came in, his first shot was a three-pointer, which was a swish. He was looking a little bit more quicker. He still has his agility where he's able to spin off of people. He had a play, I think it was in the third or fourth quarter, where he took, I forgot what his name was. Griffin, to the school and got a layup on him. He even finished. It's going to take him time. I think he was still a little bit hesitant about taking the physicality that's happening in the game nowadays. And he missed a couple of them near the net, but you expect that from a guy who's rusty, right? But he still did pretty good. Let me see what he scored. So Siakam scored 15 points on 5 of 12. That's not bad. That's a very good comeback. You have to give him that. He looked good. He looked happy. So I'm feeling a bit more positive about his progress. It seems like Spicy P is coming back to the way he was. And that's a good outtake for the Raptors going forward. Number two, guys. Number two that I feel was that's I think the last two games might have been a outlier. Is the Raptors 3-point shooting this season has been sucking. They were 23% today. Okay, the last two games I thought they were starting to improve, but I was wrong. The Raptors are missing open 3-point shots that would just blow the game open for them. But they just keep missing them, and there's like some of them are just air balls. I think Siva had an air ball today, wide open. I don't know how they get nervous about it, but what happened? Like, it's not working. The Raptors need to do something different in order to get their 3-point shooting going, and they just released their best 3-point shooter in Sam Decker. That's a whole new, like, I don't agree with that. I think Isaac Bonga should have been released because Sam Decker gives you the 3-point shooting that you're going to end up needing possibly down the line if somebody gets hurt. Who is a 3-point shooter? Because Isaac Bonga can't shoot threes. Kem Birch doesn't really shoot threes. Precious is getting better at it. Scotty Barnes doesn't really shoot threes. Delano Benton doesn't really shoot threes, right? So what do you, like, why would you release a 3-point shooter? But anyways, I think the Raptors 3-point shooting is struggling, and it's just a matter of their mentality rather than their technicals or not having open shots. The Raptors have open shots, they're just not making them, and that needs to improve for the Raptors going forward if we're going to beat teams like Brooklyn. Because if we would have made our 3-point shots today, Brooklyn wouldn't have been even in this game. With our, the way, even the shitty defense we played, we missed a lot of defensive assignments today. The Raptors weren't communicating. They were getting to the bucket. Brooklyn was getting to the bucket without even people being on them. The side 3-point, the corner 3-point shot, we suck at it, defending it for some reason. And today we just kept giving it wide open. Blake Griffin had 4 3-pointers by the third quarter. Like, it's nuts. And we were still in the game until the fourth quarter. So that tells you if we would have just nailed the 3-point shots, I think we are, let me take a look here. What did we score? We were 7 of 30. 23% is, like I said, 7 of 30. That's dirty. That's disgusting, man. For the Raptors in the 3-point shots. And I can guarantee you 12 to 13 of those were wide open. Wide freaking open. But anyways, guys, that was my second takeaway. The third takeaway is that the Raptors defense, even if when they were not doing well, like I said, that, we're missing defensive assignments, we're not communicating, the Raptors are not really, in sync. And you expected that with Pascal coming into the lineup, that people are going to have to adjust a little bit, and it's going to take time. I get why Nick Nurse wanted to play Pascal today. Even you want to go into a game trying to win it, but I think he wanted Pascal to start off feeling good, doing well against a strong team, so that way going forward he'll be good, even if it does cost him this team by people not being able to adjust that quickly against a good team on the defensive end. So the Raptors, are still turning people over. They're still, being able to hold teams. They held Brooklyn Nets, who are averaging, I think, 121, 125 points, to about 116. And that was because by the end of it, the Raptors were out of it and they didn't really give a shit on the defensive end. But they're turning people over. Rebounding was an issue today because Kem Birch wasn't in the game. And I think Nick Nurse just didn't want to play Chris Boucher as much, even though he gave really good minutes. There were a lot of second chance points given. I guess Blake Griffin and those guys, because you have to be on the 3-point line. Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, those guys can be underneath the rim and be able to get those shots in. And I think one thing I have noticed, the fourth takeaway I have, is that the game is getting physical, right? The refs aren't calling as much as they used to. And I get people in the last video say that, oh, I'm hating on the refs. I'm not hating on the refs. I just hate how they are not consistent with their whistles. Sometimes they'll call ticky-tacky shit. Sometimes they'll let people punch each other out type of situation. They need to be more consistent. There was this one call where Blake Griffin is hanging trying to block somebody, and they're not calling that. Like, come on. You got to be better than that at your job. I get it's hard. You're not going to cover every play, but be consistent. If you're calling ticky-tacky, call it for the rest of the game. If you're calling no fouls, don't call ticky-tacky shit like in the second quarter. Keep it consistent because it just ruins the game. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Boston Celtics on Wednesday. Wednesday, we are going to whoop their ass. Screw Boston Celtics. The Raptors will come back with a vengeance and win that game. I believe they'll win it 120 to 102, and then Celtics will have it another, players only meeting. But anyways, guys, that's my prediction for the Boston Celtics game. The Raptors come back strong. Spicy P looks good, even better in the next game, and the Raptors win that game. If you guys enjoyed the content, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the Wednesday game. Have a good day, guys.